Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Terraria, which has definitely engulfed my entire life. And it was time to figure out what to do next. This actually confused the hell out of me, because I didn't see any indication. I'd killed the dungeon, I'd got keys, and I was lost. I was totally lost. And I was wandering around, trying to find what to do, and started rechecking NPCs, because I hadn't really done anything with the NPCs a lot. And I had questions and ideas about what I should do next, but what the actual answer was, I didn't know. But once talking to the guide, I realized the guide actually would give you tips on what to do. And he indicated to me that there was something in hell that I needed to figure out and do something with. Alongside this, after a little bit of mulling around and seeing what I could do, and then I had a voodoo doll drop in hell. Like, it dropped on the floor. And I was very confused as to what this was, because it was not the first time I'd seen a voodoo doll. I actually had one of the clothier. So, I had tried to do something with it. I'd thrown it on the floor. I had looked to see if I could make pins. Something like that. From everything I know about voodoo dolls, like, do I do a ritual with it? Do I stick pins in it? What to do? And so I was messing around with it, but equipping it said you're a terrible person. After looking at it and trying to mull through this, and I have to give special shout-outs to my audience here who did not spoil anything that was about to be the most frustrating period in time for Terraria that we had ever had, and that's what was coming up. And after I explain it, you guys know the answer. It will seem pretty logical, I think. We can't make pins to stick in the doll. The doll allows us to attack NPCs, but it's not killing the NPC. So what I noticed is that the clothier voodoo doll looked exactly like one of the villagers that was now living in my base. So then it occurred to me, is like, if I have this thing equipped, can I attack the NPCs? So I equipped the clothier voodoo doll, I went up to that NPC, and lo and behold, I could kill him. And I did, seeing if anything would happen. Nothing happened, but the guide NPC had told me that everything I need to do in order to face the devil of the world, which I honestly believed at this point was the final boss of the game, was in hell. And I got a voodoo doll from there. So that made sense. So, given what I had just seen, is that by equipping a voodoo doll that I could attack the NPCs, I figured one of number of things. One, I kill the guide because I noticed that the guide voodoo doll says guide voodoo doll and looks like him. Is if I kill him, does that cause something to happen? Because I got the voodoo doll from hell. So that's what I did. I butchered the guide. I shot him square in the face. And nothing happened. So then, based on the knowledge that I'd seen or encountered so far, it's like, okay, maybe I need to do this in hell. How do I get the guide into hell was the next question. And I surmised that maybe if I build him a house in hell and tell him that he has to live there, that he'll move to hell. So down to hell we went. And I built him a little house. And lo and behold, I got him to move in. And then I killed him. And nothing happened. So I was stuck. I was absolutely stuck on what to do. Because my usage of the voodoo doll so far had led me to this is what you do. And it didn't work. I'd killed him in hell and it hadn't worked. And now I had the guide living in hell. So my next theory was there must be something I'm missing that's in hell. Because the guide's clue was everything you need to do is in hell. So I'm thinking, okay, there must be a ritual stone or something like that. So then the adventure begins. And I explored the absolute reaches of hell from all the way to the very, very edge when it stopped even producing buildings. I collected some nice loot on the way, which was nice. And also found that I was kind of survivable down there. But once I reached the end of the map, there was nothing. There was absolutely nothing. But what I noticed a little bit was that every now and again, my chat was freaking out about something. I couldn't see what they were saying, but in my peripheral vision, I could see that they were freaking out about something. This would turn out to be that I was constantly killing the demons that had the voodoo dolls. They're called voodoo demons. I had a big collection of voodoo dolls by this point, and it was almost going in the lava, but I had built a bridge to make my area safe, and therefore the voodoo doll was landing not in the lava. So I knew I was close to something. Let me put it that way. As blind as this is, I knew I was close to something, and I was mulling it over. And then, ultimately, I decided to try a number of different things. And one of them eventually was, and I no lie, this took 4 hours. I'm sorry, guys. It did. It took 4 hours. I had been led completely down the wrong way with the clothier voodoo doll. everything I'd seen with voodoo dolls was indicating that it allowed me to attack NPCs, and the idea of actually killing the voodoo doll never occurred to me, because that's not really what you kind of do with voodoo dolls, but they're supposed to represent the person, you cause them pain, so it allowed me to kill them, blah, 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 blah. But ultimately, I threw the voodoo doll into the lava, and the wall of flesh appeared. I picked up a bit of a spoiler for this, though, and I did mention this in a previous video, is that I had moused over the achievements as I was just on the UI, and it had said, like, the next achievement was to kill the wall of flesh. So I knew something called wall of flesh existed. I didn't know how to summon it. But now we do! It took 4 hours, and the wall of flesh appeared, and had all the health in the goddamn universe, and it became very apparent that I had nowhere near the space to do this. So, we're going to need a bigger road. We're going to need a bigger road, because I kept bumping into choke points and buildings and trying to dig my way through over and over again, so I extended the road. And then I extended the road again. And then I extended the road again, and again, and again, and again, and tried, and I wiped at like 1%, 2%, and it needed to be a little wider, a little bit longer, a little bit dirty. This boss was actually, I'll be honest though, this boss was the worst boss I've faced so far in Terraria. It was completely uninteresting. It wasn't threatening. It wasn't a case of, nothing about this boss was actually threatening to me other than it actually reaching me. And I just went with a full bow and arrow, just shooting at it. One thing I didn't realize until afterwards is that its different points took different levels of damage. So hitting the eyes does more damage than hitting the mouths. I didn't realize that in the first time, but I persevered and I built the longest road in goddamn history. And there it was. I managed to defeat the wall of flesh. And I genuinely thought at this point I have finished Terraria, and I'm done. But no, as a message appeared in my chat saying something in the world has changed and the ancient spirits of light and dark have been released. I didn't know what that meant, and it wouldn't be until day 7 that I found out what that meant. So pay attention to the next video for that moment.